If you have a question during the show, we want to hear it. Your input is a big part of what makes this show successful, and we thrive on your energy and insights. So whether it's a quick comment, a thoughtful question, or an opinion you just have to share, don't hesitate to drop it in the chat. Now, if you want to make absolutely sure your message stands out and gets featured on the show, there's an easy way to do that. Use the super chat feature. Just click the $sign at the bottom of the chat box to send in your super chat. This guarantees that your message gets on the air, and it's also a fantastic way to support our channel. We rely on your support. We rely on your support. We rely on your support to keep bringing you the sports content you love, and we appreciate every bit of it. So go ahead, let us know what you're thinking. Hit that super chat button. Let's keep the show as interactive and exciting as possible. And if you prefer, you can also go to the gsmcpodcast.net to tip, donate, and leave a comment or question there. We couldn't do what we do without your amazing support, and we're so thankful to have you as part of our community. We have to start off, though, with the reports that Ten Hag is preparing as usual for Man United's upcoming match when they take on Brentford. Obviously, this is after the international break. Right now, it's in the international break. But when we come back, that's Saturday, October 19th. So obviously not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. They're taking on Brentford at Old Trafford, and there's reports that Ten Hag, he is preparing as usual for this game, despite this supposed meeting on Tuesday with him and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and some of the upper boards, some of the upper people in the executive committee, and we know the continuous uncertainty surrounding his position with the end of last season now carrying over to the start of this season. Some devastating results that United have suffered, losing to Liverpool 3-0, losing to Brighton, losing to Liverpool 3-0, having, their last, not winning a game in their last 5 games in all competitions, suffering that really bad loss to Tottenham, only getting 2 points from your first 2 Europa League games against Twente and Porto. It's really been a shocking start to the season. Manchester United are sitting right now through 7 games, 14th place in the Premier League with 2 wins from 7, with a -3 goal differential. They're just not good enough. Their attack is one of the worst in the Premier League. They've only scored 5 goals this season, which puts them tied for the second worst in the league. The only teams that have scored less goals than Man United, the only team that scored less goals than Man United this season is Southampton, who is this newly promoted side. They're sitting on one point from their first 7 games, only 1 draw and 6 losses. It's unbelievable. And United only have that's the only team United have scored more goals than. The attack has been lackluster. They've lacked that dynamism. They've lacked the goals, quite frankly. 5 goals in 7 games is just not to the standard of Man United, and this team is just very, very below the standards. They're just not good enough, and it just seems like a never-ending cycle. And my thing is, what is it gonna take at this point then? If you're starting off, if you're through your first 7 games, and you only have 8 points, and you're sitting 14th, what does it really take for a manager to get fired? What does it take for Erik Ten Hag to get fired? And Erik Ten Hag, is he the main problem at United? No, United have had huge issues with the football club ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left, going all the way back But but at the same time, though, when you're trying to look at it from an objective point of view, even as a United fan, it's just not been good enough. What Ten Hag has, what Ten Hag has, what Ten Hag has overseen. It's just not been good enough. The way that they play and the results is one thing, but the performances at the same time, they're bad as well. They're really bad. It's not just the results; it's the performances, it's the in-game decisions. Um, it's some of the players that he brought in. His players. You're talking 100 million Anthony. You're talking Mason Mount, Erickson, uh, Onana. Players that he's had previous experience working with, or players that he wanted at the club that that are not playing at the level. And then it's a combination of this. It's just everything surrounding the club is just toxic. It's toxic beyond analysis almost at this point. And you almost ask, if he was this close on the verge of being sacked at the end of last season, how can he, how does he survive finding himself 14th place through 7 games? You know? And yes, he has won, the FA Cup and EFL Cup, and if you look at it from an objective point of view, that's pretty successful because United before that a Carabao Cup that he won, not this past season, but the season before that, his first season, they were on a trophy drought for about, I believe it was since 2016 when they won the Europa League and Carabao Cup with Mourinho. They were on a massive trophy drought. So, and Andy Cole, he did come out saying, a little bit of backing for Erik Ten Hag, saying Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager in the club's history, didn't win a trophy in his first 3 years at Manchester United. Winning 2 cups in 2 seasons isn't easy to do, regardless of what others say. If it was easy to do, then everyone would. Yeah, I agree with that point too, but the cups now and the cups during Sir Alex Ferguson time is very, very different. Besides the Champions League, the FA Cup and EFL Cup doesn't have the same magnitude, it doesn't have the same intensity, especially from the bigger teams in the earlier rounds. So, but it is an achievement to win 2 trophies, especially when you look at what United have done the past few, with the trophy that they had. But again, with Manchester United, you're also going to be judged with your league performances. And quite frankly, not good enough. They had that a good season where they finished 3rd place in Ten Hag's first year there. It was, getting 75 points over. It was a solid season, and you think as a United fan, you think you're gonna build upon that. Then you go on the following year, you finish 8th. You play some dreadful football. It's just not good enough. Ten Hag almost gets sacked, and then a year later on, through 7 games, it's just even more alarming, and there's more questions than answers. And I'm looking at it, and if you're a United fan and the thing that's even more depressing if you're a United fan is if you do sack Ten Hag and you're looking at the odds, Gareth Southgate is the favorite to take over. Gareth Southgate is the favorite to take over. That'd be funny to watch. That will be absolute entertainment. Oh my goodness. That will be that will be amazing to watch. But Ten Hag, in the summer he extended his contract until 2026. Is that playing a role in this as well? Potentially, maybe. I wouldn't really think it does, but I'm tired of coming on and saying the same things over and over again regarding Ten Hag. The fact that he's able to walk on this thin tightrope for as long as he's been able to walk to me is pretty impressive. What he's been able to do to to be on the verge of getting fired for this long and still being the manager and potentially getting another opportunity. But you do have to say, in post this international break, it has to be now. Like, if it wasn't before, it has to be make or break, like times 10. And they don't have the most difficult fixture list. Taking on Brentford, taking on one of their former managers in Jose Mourinho. You got West Ham, Leicester. Those 4 games, the results better start piling up. Because look, within that 4-game skit, if they disappoint, especially getting eliminated early in the AFL Cup when you take on Leicester, that would be a really, really bad look. Because one of the main things that Ten Hag has, as is something he can have a backbone over, is the fact that he's won a few trophies, and to lose an opportunity to Leicester, that would be a bad loss. They struggle against Fenerbahce, especially with the fact that United only have 2 points from the first 2 Europa League games. And then obviously the Brentford, West Ham Premier League games, they're obviously massive games, especially with United sitting in 14th. They need to rack up the points. So no, but overall, I am tired of saying the same things over and over again. So we'll see what happens.